This is Terry. Welcome back to my channel. Today's topic is, I think, appropriate for those of us in the US who have maybe a couple days off from normal work because it's Thanksgiving week and maybe not the typical pressures. So I'm feeling a sense of, just like the pressure is off a little bit. So I have some room to be creative, and I basically have some room to breathe. The last 9 months with COVID has been very stressful, and it's been a lot. I've also had some intense client work the last couple of months, and then we also had the elections. And over the weekend, yesterday specifically, I was able to take some time to be creative and read a blog post. A new guy I'm playing tennis with asked me for resources around angel investing, and I found a couple podcast episodes that I'd written or recorded on it, and I thought that I'd put a blog post together, but I hadn't. And so I spent Sunday morning basically writing the blog post, putting together some images to push out onto social media, and pushed it out onto social media, and it felt really, really good to be creative. I just haven't been doing as much in the creative space, and I had forgotten how much I really enjoyed it. I also really enjoy writing, and all I've been writing are technical documents or validation documents for my clients, and it just felt really good to be in that creative space. And then this morning, we're recording this on Monday, this morning I realized that I do a bunch of onboarding and welcome parties for some folks that I've invited onto the Clubhouse app, and my my little cheat sheet has gotten into turned out to be a complete mess. And so I thought, well, let me just go ahead and write that up. Well, I may as well do a blog post on it. So I took the opportunity. I had no client calls this morning. I had no client meetings. I did all my prep work on Friday. And so I didn't have anything until 1 o'clock this afternoon. And so I took the time to write a blog post and then create some images and then put that out on social media. And it, once again, it felt really good to be creating something and putting something out there that was non-compliance and non-technology related from a biotech or client perspective. It felt really, really good. So, what about you? Are you feeling a little less pressure, a little less stress this week? Do you feel like you have some room to breathe and perhaps be creative and work on something separate? During in our virtual co-working room on Clubhouse, which I opened up at like 8 o'clock this morning, one of the gals, Sheila, who lives up in San Francisco, wanted to know from other people in the room. I mean, at one point there were about, 10 to 14 of us in the room, and wanted to know what other people were doing to take advantage of the holidays and maybe some downtime to were people taking some time, were they traveling, were they doing something around self-care, were they working on their side hustle, what was it that people were doing? And nobody really responded, even though we asked people. And maybe they were just too focused on getting their work done so that maybe they can take Wednesday off, and so they have more time off this week. But I gave her a response and said, I feel like I have some extra time to focus on some creative stuff, to do a little research. Yesterday, I had the opportunity I guess it was opportunity, but I decided to take a look at SEO, or search engine optimization, for YouTube and see what it is, if there were any super simple things that I could be doing to bump up the numbers. And there are 3 things I can do right off the bat. One is to like my own video. The second is to watch my video all the way through, which I do before I post it, but I don't necessarily do it after. And then the other thing is to add a comment and then pin it, perhaps to ask a question to drive some engagement. I'm like, I can do that. That's super easy. I also downloaded TubeBuddy and added that extension so that I can start looking at the analytics and maybe optimizing on some keywords in my videos, and then on the keyword tags on the videos themselves to try to bump up the numbers. So that was a little bit fun and interesting, but I got to a point where, like, yeah, I'm kind of tired. And so yesterday I actually took 2 different naps. They weren't for more than like 15 or 20 minutes, but it felt good to say to myself, you know what, you're tired, why don't you just go lay down for a little bit? And it felt good to recharge. And it also felt good to give myself permission to, you know, not be super productive yesterday, not be super productive. I was super productive on Saturday, but yesterday, Sunday, I was not super productive, and it was okay. I let things happen in their own time, and it worked out fine. And after dinner, I sat down in front, you know, on the couch in the living room with my husband Zeke, and we put on Call the Midwife. I have not been able to watch anything other than dumb TikTok videos. Ray is just doing one of these dumb TikTok videos on cocktails and food and everything else, because my attention span, I've had to focus all of my attention on my client work, and with, as I said, with the elections, with COVID being 9 months into it, with
everyone's attention span is fucked.
Yeah, so it's not just me, and so it felt really good to actually be able to sit down and watch. I think we watched 2 or 3 episodes while I just plowed through my inbox and responded to people who, you know, I hadn't responded to in nearly 3 weeks and had been waiting for something. So cleaned up my Calendly, set certain times, and actually was able to push out some emails and say, okay, pick a time slot during these 3 weeks and we'll take some time to chat. And I gave myself this week with no calls or meetings like that, and it felt really, really good. So that, you know, I slept as well as I can sleep, given that I've got a dog who wants to get up and down, and then Zuko, who wants to go in and out, our cat. I did find out that at 2 o'clock in the morning it was raining outside because the cat came in soaking wet and then jumped on my bed. Gotta love the little shit.
Yeah, so. He's a little cockroach.
So, how are you doing for mental space, Ray? Do you have, I mean, you set aside time for your writing and doing some creative stuff, aren't you?
Not as much recently because I've been focusing more on schoolwork, but I plan on writing more.
Okay, good. Well, hopefully this week your time will free up just a little bit. You don't have school Wednesday, do you?
I have my college courses Wednesday.
Oh.
So that's just math that's synchronous on Wednesday.
Oh, okay, good. So hopefully it's not too much. It was interesting during co-working today on Clubhouse. I was talking about having some space and being a little bit more creative. And Laura, who's my Clubhouse bestie, who's in DC, said, you know, reminded me that we're expected to show up as normal, even though we're 9 months into sheltering in place, even though we've been enduring so much on the political front. And, you know, with the elections, we're just expected to continue to show up and perform, and it's wearing. This other gal, Brandy, who's new to the co-working room, said, we are under severe psychological stress all the time right now. There's not much, the pressure's just on constantly. And if you're feeling it, you're not alone. Hopefully you can practice a little bit of self-care in order to make it easier. The other thing that I'm finding is my daily anchors are really helping. So every day, you know, I've talked about having my Silk Sonder habit tracker. So it's now turned into 30 minutes of French on Duolingo because it's gotten harder and it's taking me longer to get through my 50 points every day. And then I'm doing the Planksgiving challenge. So I'm up to 2.5 minutes in a plank every day. That was a little hard today. I do at least 5 to 10 minutes of meditation every day. I'm trying to get back into the habit of doing it. You know, I do my French and then I'll meditate in my bed and then I get up. And then I also do my morning, my daily morning pages, which today was in the morning. And I have a beautiful, right now I have a beautiful journal that I'm keeping my morning pages in. As I've mentioned before, I used to shred them, but given that we are in this really weird time, I think it'll be very interesting to see what I was doing and thinking about and what I used as my daily mental palette cleanser in my morning pages. So I'm not shredding those anymore. I also do, what else do I do? I have one other thing that I do. Oh, my daily gratitudes. So I make sure to put those into my daily planner every morning. Really easy to come up with 3. And then on my list, so that I feel like I've accomplished something, is every day I do something #OneBraveThing. And so these are all of my daily anchors that really...
What's your brave thing today?
I think putting the blog post out about the Clubhouse onboarding. I think it's always a little bit nerve-wracking to put something out that's written into the universe. So that was my hashtag one brave thing today. So and yesterday's one brave thing was writing the angel investor resource blog post that I did yesterday. And doing the social media and everything else, because it does take a little bit of courage. It's not always easy to do that, because I could be subject to ridicule. Somebody could come up and disagree with me, and that's not always a fun thing to happen online. So, do you ever do hashtag one brave thing?
I don't call it one brave thing. I don't go out and, I don't know. Nothing happens in my life. So
yeah, it's kind of hard right now. The other thing I've been scheduling in is trying to play more tennis. So reaching out to more people. I played on Friday with 3 other girlfriends, and it felt good to be out and not in front of my computer. Saturday I played my typical mixed doubles match, and it felt good. My baseline game was on fire. My serve was pretty good, so that felt good. And right now I'm playing on Wednesday and Saturday. So it feels great to have that in my calendar to kind of anchor my week, so that I know I'm going to get my ass out of my chair. Because I was supposed to go walking with a friend yesterday, and I decided I was too tired and I was not feeling social, and I just stayed in my pajamas, crawled into bed, and read a book. Because that's what I do at the end of the day is read. The other thing that I'm noticing with people is another friend of mine. I'm not going to name her just to keep her privacy. She was really struggling with making a decision. She was hoping to go home to visit family for Thanksgiving, but was afraid of the coronavirus, and largely because some of her family members aren't taking it seriously. And she felt pulled because her mom really wanted her to go home, and at the same time other family members were not necessarily taking this seriously. And she was like, I want to be there for my mom, I don't want to be alone. But then, basically, one of her family members had been in Arizona, where they no longer have any more ICU beds because of COVID has spiked so much there because people haven't been taking it seriously. And she's like, then I'm going to end up being around this person and potentially compromised. And so this time right now is making it so some of us are in lose-lose situations regardless, because if she made the right decision to protect herself and potentially not bring something with her to make her mom sick, she's making a decision that's going to disappoint her mom and maybe some other family members. And at the same time, it means she may not be around other people for Thanksgiving, and so she may end up being alone. And so it's a lose-lose. I mean, you try to do the right thing, and it ends up being sucky all around. And I think that that's the way it is for a lot of people right now, is that there's just, it's hard to make win-win type situations because we're all constrained by so much. It made... I kind of made a list of what I miss about having space to breathe because of COVID, because of right now they're just additional parenting pressures. My son Adam is coming home. He should be on his way from San Diego, and Lord knows what mood he's going to be in. Lord knows what impact that's going to have on our household. I'm dreading it to some extent, although I'm looking forward to seeing him. I'm not alone. I talked to his roommate's mom last night, and she's feeling the same way. And, we kind of talked about what the Christmas holiday is going to be looking like, and it's like, oh, God. Yeah, Ray just went, I get it. It's a lose-lose situation all around right now. I've also had the client pressure. We've got the holiday pressure, and then, of course, the restricted freedom. So we can't even just go and do whatever we want, whenever we want. I can't even go do retail therapy because I don't necessarily get out and go and do things. So
you can.
I could. I don't like to buy stuff online. I mean, I just
then go out and get something.
Well, Pomegranate Seeds isn't open. That's one of the places I like doing retail therapy. I don't want to go to Nordstrom to go get stuff. I can't try stuff on in places, so then I have to bring it home. This is why I generally just don't buy new stuff, even though I need it, because I don't want to deal with that. But I digress. So I think that's pretty much what I wanted to go over. Should we do a quick check-in with Vin? Well, you've been house sitting and kitty sitting for our neighbors, so that's changed it up. So you've got Pico and Pinto. I want to call the one Pico de Gallo, but it's Pico and Pinto. So, with the SEO stuff, one of the things I need to do is if you could help me out and do a thumbs up on this video, I'd really appreciate it. It's so easy for you to do. It costs you nothing, and it really, really helps me out. I'm going to go ahead and put something in the comments. If you can answer a question or something in the comments, that would be really helpful as well. I would like to know, how are you doing? What are you doing about self-care? What are you doing to give yourself some time and room to breathe? Take advantage of a little bit of space as we are sliding into the end of the year and the holidays. I know you hate that. So I think that's life with a 16-year-old.
I'm tired. What do you expect me to do?
I don't know. And so I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and thank you for subscribing. We are up to 210 subscribers. So to all of you who are new, thank you so much for joining. Hopefully you will find something fun and interesting in the content that I put out every Tuesday and every Saturday. Try to keep the videos to about 15 minutes, but I've been sucking at that lately. With that, I just want to say thank you again, and let go of some risks. I can't believe I still screwed this up. Let go of perfection, take some risks, and above all else, have some fun.